Okay, so I think as and when the participants are joining, so as always, we are on time. So today we have, and I think 2020, we have a lot of leaders coming in from Adobe, from SAP, from Reliance. So we had so many CFOs, and today we have Sandhya Sharma with us. So she is the CFO of Schindler. And she would be, she's a chartered accountant, and Sangeeta would kind of brief more about Sandhya. But before that, thank you so much, Sandhya, for coming in on a weekday again and at a very hectic time of 4:30. And thank you, participants, for joining in who are all working professionals who have took out time today. And I hope that this would be one of the amazing session for sure for all the attendees who are joining in and who all are watching us on YouTube also. And I'd be taking questions every now and then from the YouTube as well as on the Q&A window. Request you none of them to put the question on Zoom chat and redirect all those questions in the Q&A window. Thank you so much, Sandhya. Over to you, Sangeeta.
Yes, thank you, sir. I'd like to extend a very warm welcome to our speaker, Ms. Sandhya Sharma, and also thank each and every one of you for being here with us today for a webinar on impact of COVID on finance function in corporates. Ms. Sandhya Sharma is a chartered accountant by profession with 20 plus years of experience. She is currently working as CFO at Schindler for over than 10 years now. Before, she was with Mahindra and Mahindra for 9 years. Unlike most finance professionals, she is a die-hard optimistic and strongly believes that people create organizations that help organizations build strong core values. Ma'am will speak on the topic for about 40 to 45 minutes. Meanwhile, you guys put your questions in the Q&A section and you can even raise your hands. We'll take your questions up. Thank you, ma'am, for taking out your time from your busy schedule. And now I'd like you to take over the webinar. Over to you, ma'am.
Hello, thank you all. Before I can kind of uh, start the session, I would like to thank each one of you for having me as a part of the session. And it is a pleasure for me. The one way which I connect with all of you is that you are learning more about the world. Uh, and as Sangeeta mentioned that I have spent 20 plus years, now I'm learning more about myself. So what I have started is a journey on inner engineering, a journey on how the subconscious mind plays a powerful role in the way we act, in the way we react, how we can kind of more respond than react. So to know about more about myself, the learning has been started. I would say it started post COVID, and I'll take you through how. But let me give a brief about myself. So let me first share my screen. Sangeeta, if you can let me know if it is visible.
Yes, ma'am, it's visible.
Okay, and great. Before I start with the journey of what COVID has impacted, I would say that is an external circumstance, but most of the times we are more disturbed by the uh, internal situations that we have, internal discussions that we have with ourselves, and the internal journey is more impacting than the external one. This is one of the external ones, but if you are well set internally, the external one wouldn't impact. And let me take you through how. If I see Sandhya Sharma, and nothing against people who have been getting good marks, my daughter is one of them. But as Sandhya Sharma, I wouldn't say that I was a 90 plus student all the time, and I used to love and play. Let me share that at the age of 20, after doing my BCom, I even applied for a receptionist job, and I got rejected. It was very, very disheartening at that point in time that I got rejected. But I would say you, this is my first learning. Never expect all your wishes to come true. This was one of the learnings that I kind of realized it. Uh, I got married at the same age, at the age of 20, and I did my CA after that. I would say I had an extremely supportive family who rather, my in laws suggested that I should be doing my CA, and this was the way the CA journey started. The passing percentage of CA is around 2%, as they say. It was a big plunge for me. The only confidence that I had was uh, the grit that I carried, that if I have started something, I wouldn't like to fail. It was more a ego, I would say, right, than a grit. And this is how the whole journey started for me. I remember the first time I went for my results in CA Institute, and people who are from Mumbai would know that the CA Institute is located at a very beautiful place in South Mumbai, and it has a beach nearby. The seashore is quite near, and I had thought, should I commit suicide or something like that, because I failed the first time in my CA. And before that, although I wouldn't say I would was great scorer, but I had never failed. So this was the first kind of interaction of my with a reality, which had never happened earlier. So the journey from there started to becoming chartered accountant, then joining Bombay Dyeing for 2 years, and then in Mahindra for 9 years, and then in Schindler for about 10 years. It has been a long journey, and also a very satisfying one in multiple aspects. But let me share what ensured, or what helped me to reach where I am. I wouldn't say this is the ultimate goal, but yes, it has been better than others in some way, and that is not a ego but a gratitude that I had gathered over my years of growing up, years of working. One was ethics and values, and why I'm sharing that. As a principal, I never join an organization which is not uh, as strong in code of conduct as I expect to be. Because as a finance professional, I want to sleep right every day without having a guilt of doing something wrong, okay, at the workplace. So I would say these are ethics that I have gathered from my parents, from my friends, from my interaction with relatives. One more which I remember one of my uncles used to say is, never borrow for luxury. It's a very important one. At that point in time, I did not realize, I would say, the importance of it, but I uh, truly follow it. And I can't tell you the benefit that I have from it, although it may not fit in the kind of category of consumerism which helps the GDP grow. But personally, I do not work for EMIs, and that has been a great, I would say, achievement for me, that I do not have to work for EMIs. Why? Because one thing, never borrow for luxury. So these are the kind of ethics values. These are not taught in any of our school syllabuses. This is more that you have to gather from interaction with people. And I will tell you, you can learn from anyone. From some you learn what to do, from some you learn what not to do, right? So I would say there are few things which I have learned from some people that I shouldn't do. Like I remember in 88 precisely, same time, I saw a beautiful purse that time it was 120 rupees. I wouldn't say it was very, very expensive, but yes, for me it was expensive. And I remember my dad telling me that बेटा पर्स उतने का ही लेना चाहिए जिसमें उससे ज्यादा पैसे रख पाओ. Although in the era of credit card it would not make sense physically, literally, but I would say otherwise, even with credit cards, I wouldn't like to spend more than what I have, right? So these are the ethics values which has helped me even survive in the COVID situation, and where it is more that you will control costs rather, because you're not sure how the income is going to grow immediately, right? So I would say this bits during the journey, the ethics and values helped me a lot. Of course, as I mentioned, learning shared by my dad. I would say I started on the mindfulness journey early, and that helped me a lot. And what does it mean? It means that rather than blaming someone else for the mistakes or for things that are not happening as per um, my wish, I would rather understand what I can do better and then work on it. And I got good families, friends, coach, and mentors. In fact, one of the coach that I'm working with is excellent one, and I would really share and would suggest that each one of you have a mentor and a coach for yourself. And the difference is, a coach is more who asks questions and let you derive the conclusion and kind of help you show the path. A mentor is one usually from the same field, who can help you kind of take steps and suggest you steps and help you grow. Both have its own, I would say, benefits, and I would strongly suggest that you can approach industry professionals, because there are many people who will be able to support you in this. Coming to the impact of COVID on finance functions, let me first start with what are the finance and what is the finance world in corporates. Generally, it would look like bookkeeping, financial reporting and control, tax compliance, capital budgeting. And why I have separated that with strategic financial planning and analysis, treasury risk management, and corporate strategy is most of these functions, um, most of the, I would say, monotonous and mechanical work is being more and more either outsourced in an organization to a shared service center. More and more artificial intelligence and machine learning is taking over in this area. Like in our organization, we have implemented OCR, optical character reading, for all the invoices that are processed, right? So it does not then require a huge accounts payable team to manage. We can manage it with a reduced manpower, the whole AP team for, or the whole invoicing part and the whole processing part, with a much lower manpower and with the help of these systems. And these are getting, I would say, more and more, um, uh, what do you call, sophisticated, which helps accuracy, which helps quite a lot of immediate processing or timely processing, which is the need of the day, right? So in fact, bookkeeping and all these areas, most of the organizations outsource. I wouldn't say the outsourcing is on the decision making part. Outsourcing is more on the mechanical or monotonous part, like passing an entry, like we have, I would say, for monthly reimbursements, we are using SAP Concur. Now, what Concur does is, it allows me to submit my expense statement, reimbursement statement online. The entry goes through all the approval process, or the expense reimbursement goes through all the approval process. It is then sent to the finance team, and the finance team gets it audited, simultaneously also gets it processed after audit, and pays to the employee in the bank account. Now, in the whole process, the employee involvement or the manual involvement is there only at the end, wherein the accounting entry needs to be approved. Everything else is a auto process mechanism. Now, how does this help? Usually, to give a ballpark figure, we would somewhere process 35,000 such expense statements annually. It can be of small value or can be of big value, but it still takes a lot of effort to do this. Now, with this kind of expense statements, if the whole thing is routed through mechanism, it definitely requires very less amount of people. I currently have only 2 persons who's looking after the whole expense reimbursement. Only 2 colleagues of mine are looking into it. Similarly, for bookkeeping, for tax and compliance, I would say a lot of tools is available, and thanks to GST, the tools are quite automized, I would say, and the whole processing of direct invoicing and the tools are integrated in a lot of way, and then this helps us to kind of take it forward in a very efficient way. Capital budgeting, again, for me, most of the thing is taken care by a mechanism which is through auto approval mode, okay, right till the PO is raised. So then the whole budgeting part, the whole physical GRN and all those things is then taken care, but the whole till the PO part, everything is automized. So in this area, as a finance function, I do not see that this area will give you the kind of niche that you want to do after studying finance. Although I wouldn't say this is not important, this is the backbone of finance. But these functions are going to be taken care more by machines than by humans. Human involvement will be on a reducing trend in these areas. Okay. Uh, in the areas where you need to use your senses, you need to use your awareness, consciousness, more is strategic financial planning and analysis. And I can't tell you the benefit that one can achieve by being in this area. This area in finance is the area which is very close to the business as well as part of the finance. I was in this area earlier, and it helped me gain so much confidence on my understanding of business. It helped me much better. I would tell that I was so scared of sales earlier that I would not never venture. Now I interact with customers, and I am also spokes for some of the customers. And being in this area gave me to understand the nuances of how businesses are run, right? So this area is extremely important, wherein you can have the best of blend of the business as well as finance. And this is one of the areas which will help you grow to the CFO position, because a CFO, like earlier days where CFO was more into accounting and compliance, it is not one of the major criteria. It is definitely there, but now CFOs are more like the right hand to the CEOs, where they work with the CEOs to improve the business, or to work to improve and work upon the top line, the bottom line, along with the CEO. And that means you need to get that business mindset within you, right? So this area attains a lot of importance. And in COVID time, this was the area which was one of the important areas which was working aggressively with the field operations to identify that what we can do, okay, to have the business running and to have the profitability, I wouldn't say impacted as much as it would have. So, okay, these were areas who were working on the probability analysis, that what if the virus stays for 4 months, 6 months, what should I do? What is a red scenario or traffic light scenarios we had identified, that whether it is good to have a green scenario, um, like on a China model, which recovered very quickly, or an a yellow scenario or a red scenario, which can be a deep impact to the business organization. So this team was working actively with the business, and the first, I would say, the month where the COVID impacted us, I would say most of us were lost as to what to be done, and we really did not know that how long this will last. Right? It was a guess every day. So this team was working along with business, that once we open up, how things will work. And the whole scenario planning was worked during this lockdown that we had, right? Then coming back to treasury, I would say this is again backbone of finance, as well as of any CFO role, and not to say of the organization as well, because cash is ultimately everything. It's not even king, it's everything now. And I'll tell you why it was important, because during the lockdown, the first 1 month, I would say there was hardly any cash coming into our bank account, because the business was obviously not happening, and there was a lot of AMCs which were being renewed for us, the annual maintenance contract, because we are into um, maintaining as escalators and elevators also. So those were coming only, but those were not enough to take care of all the expenses. And because of lockdown, initially we did not know how do we move from physical people to all digital contracts, right? We were not aware as to how we quickly we can move. We were trying to find out options. So in this area, when the first month the cash was like a dead person or a dying person's heartline, practically flat, and it was so disturbing to see it. So I would say this area attained a lot of importance during COVID, wherein cash management became very important. And what we did was, and many organizations, I would say, followed the same thing, is controlling the spend, because that spending is in our hands, and that is what can be controlled immediately. So if you see, most of the organizations literally put brakes on their spend immediately, and then started analyzing that what is need to have and good to have. Good to have ones are being postponed until we see a full and full-fledged business back in action for most of the organization, right? So this is one area where everyone kind of worked a lot, and most of the organizations, I would say, also during COVID, applied for additional limits to ensure that post COVID they have enough cash to run their business. Moving to risk management, I would say this was tested, and many of us failed in that, because a simple example, we did not even have laptops for all our employees, right? Because it was never envisaged that we will have a situation where the whole whole country would not be able to come to office and everyone would need a laptop. So although the business continuity process worked at many places, but one basic one where in most of the cases it did not work was having laptops for everyone. So we immediately had to work on it. Because of COVID, there was no shipments coming on from China, and most of the laptops come from there. So we had to work on how do we rearrange or arrange rather laptops for all our colleagues. So this was a very basic one, but I would say most of the other things we could manage well as an organization. It was uh, we had good network, good systems to connect, and this organization had taken care much before COVID, and we were totally on Microsoft Outlook, Teams, and this helped us to work better in risk management. This was more from working side. I would say from business side, there are organizations like entertainment industry where they did not have an alternate source of income. I would say for them it is more like control cost and work on it rather than kind of looking at other expenses. Like for a theater, they do not have any other option probably to, they couldn't open the theaters during that time. So risk management for various sectors was very different, and I would say for each sector they had their own challenges. But this attained a lot of importance in risk management, where our business processes had to be very strong, and both not only in terms of the business per se, but also on how do we move everything to online quickly, and how do we ensure that all the team members have IT assets to fulfill their roles. Uh, Next one, corporate strategy, I would say is a blend which is coming from the risk management, that how the organization should be strategizing. Okay, and most of the organizations which had a strategy earlier, we had to retest during COVID to see whether the same strategy holds true in the current scenario, right? And this again is a very important function, working with the business, trying to analyze that what is the best strategy for the organization to help it grow in the near future. Maybe because of COVID, we had to take a kind of back seat to some extent for a couple of months, and it has impacted heavily for many of the industries. But this is one which is working directly with the CEO again, to understand that what can be one, the earlier strategy, whether it is holding true or not, and secondly, if not, then working on the new strategies for the coming years to help us recover the from the aftermath of COVID, right? There are other supplementary functions in finance as well: internal audit, statutory audit, shared service centers, payroll, IT. I would say all of these functions during COVID or before COVID were many a times manual. Okay, statutory auditors would come to the place, the internal audit would visit the audit place. All these have moved to online. All these have moved to online. So now this is also changing the way we are working. Like now in internal audit, most of the people do not want to travel for the whole audit duration. They need to travel only if they need some site visits or something like that. Otherwise they can manage the whole internal audit sitting in their office. Similarly, for statutory audit, visits are very limited. Most of, like we work with Big Fours, most of the firms have their systems wherein you can upload your requirements and what they require from you, and they can audit it, they can give you feedback on the same system. So it is working perfectly fine online as well, and most of the parts is online. So I am seeing that these all would change in the coming future, where we would not see the requirement to travel as much as earlier. Same with shared service centers, with most of the supporting functions being online. It's really that they can also work from home. Payroll and IT, definitely. To some extent, IT support needs to travel to office, but otherwise, other IT functions can be managed from everywhere. I would say, based on these, the future roles which are more promising are where you have a business understanding, where you have an active participation in organization strategy. Compliance is one part of it. It's a necessary part, but definitely one needs to keep a tab of on the all the compliances. Um, People development, I would say this is a important role. And if you understand also from the perspective that why I started with the journey is that I see I can today, as Shripal mentioned, in a busy time do this only because I have colleagues who are able to take care of the load that we have. And I always say that I do not take care of finance, I take care of people who take care of finance. So I am more as a role, I am more who's supporting the team to grow, uh, to have a better succession planning for all the roles. And hence, over here, the importance of mentors and coaches are uh, extremely important. Okay. And CSR, why I say CSR is, this is the humbling background that can help us show or help us have gratitude for whatever we have. Please do not hesitate from taking part in CSR. And this is, as an organization, also an important part, because if you see, each one of us as colleagues as well in the organization feel very proud to be part of the organization CSR journey, where we can contribute uh, not only through money but also through our time, through our efforts. And I would rate CSR as a very important part of our roles, right? So taking you through COVID, what helped us was strategizing. Definitely, this was in all the areas. This was in marketing, this was in spend management, this was in ensuring that how do we find out new avenues of income. In all these things, strategy was extremely helpful. And why the role of finance in strategy comes is, we know as finance professionals um, the risk, and we can attach a value to it, right? Not everyone is able to attach a value to a risk. We have that capacity and capability. I feel this is extremely important to have a value attached to the whole risk and strategy, and hence the finance role is central, right? Compliance. Compliance, why important? Because compliance is not only a compliance merely to manage things, but this also reflects the culture and value of the organization. So you want to be always a law abiding citizen, and this helps you in continuity. This helps you in ensuring that your plans for future are met, because if the compliance as a basic is not taken care, it can impact in a lot of ways, right? So hence I rate compliance extremely important. It is like the pillar and the base on which the whole organization stands, right? And going to the next slide is inspire. And why I have included this is, in the COVID times, um, more than skills, the attitude was important. And why I differentiate between skills and attitude is, skill is with a finite mindset, means that if you have a problem, you can apply a skill and solve it. But a skill will never teach you to deal with unknowns and uncertainties. Right? Over there, our aptitude and attitude helps us. And that's why I would like all of you to ensure in your personal journey that focusing on skills alongside also ensure that your attitude, aptitude, mindset is in the right frame. This will help you grow a lot. It's a pure iceberg theory where what you see outside is a very limited part, but what is beneath is very important, and it is the base, right? And I would say this all things make you more empowered. uh, it makes you more as an integral part of the success of the organization. um, it helps you feel alive many times, because uh, one of the failures for my life has been that I have not been able to develop a hobby, right? So for me, it is work is life. I wouldn't say it is a good situation, and I wouldn't even propagate it. But I'm finding it difficult to develop a hobby for myself. I'm working on it. But for me, working is life currently, right? So, um, coming back to the future requirements, what machine can learn, humans will not be involved. So, the future requirements will be more where you can use your senses, you need to tell the machine what to do, and that will be the role that will be required. And definitely it will data analytics will assume a lot of importance going forward. This is one of the crucial areas. I wouldn't say we are even using 5% of it. Most of the organizations, we are still working on this area, right? And many a times between finance, there's always a tussle that whether a manufacturing side is good and or a service side is good. Many a times I get this question from finance professionals, where it is good to be in a manufacturing or service. I would say it is similar to a tussle between a man and woman. You cannot avoid anything. It both are necessary, and it's just that one is glamorous against the other is not so glamorous. And it's again a choice that one has about the service and the manufacturing. I would say manufacturing is more dealing with um, more with internal situations than an external one, while service is more with external situations. Internal is definitely there, but it is more external situations, right? One thing which has assumed a lot of importance during COVID is uh, trust. And why this is important, I would really highlight this, because this is one of the areas that I have been working to develop trust amongst people. And if you see and dissect any of the problems, you will see that most of the times it is because of lack of trust that we do certain things in a very different way, or which is detrimental. And over here, as you all some of you are already on the journey, and when you go further, if you see, a high performer and low trust is not preferred. A high performer, high trust is definitely the choice for most, but a medium performer, high trust is usually preferred than a high performer, low trust. I would say this is extremely important. And if you see that many of the organizations which grow, they say that they have a trusted team, right? Many of the times you will hear that they have a trusted team to take forward. And during COVID, this was well demonstrated. I would say, like the actions we took in the organization, it was trust on each other that we are doing it for the benefit of all, helped us to sail through and helped us to kind of successfully come out of COVID, right? So I would say work on an area where you improve your trust levels, and it is not a kind of magic wand that it can happen. Like, I can't go and tell anyone that you'd start trusting me. It will be a whole lot of actions which will kind of lead to people trusting you. You cannot ask for it. It is like respect. You can't ask for it, right? So this is an important topic for me. And taking to what I am learning, if you see, most of the words that you hear these days are self-care, self-awareness, self, everything. But when it comes to kind of uh, when we are not able to achieve something, we try to give an excuse to ourselves. Huh? More than others, it is an excuse to ourselves. It was his fault, her fault, because of them I wouldn't, or I couldn't do this. uh, while at the root cause, if you see, most of the times it is our fault. Either we have not acted or we have not responded well, right? We did not work as per the situation demanded. And most of the times, if we are honest to ourselves, and if we are asked that would we have handled that situation differently, probably our answer would be yes. Okay. So acting or reacting is a very important factor in many of our, I wouldn't call it misery, but many of our concerns or problems that we are facing, right? Like, I give an excuse to myself every day. If I don't want to exercise, I give an excuse. Yeah, food is very small part of the whole wellness theory. It is or exercise is a very small part of the wellness theory. I'll take care with food. And when it comes to food, I tell, okay, I'll probably exercise it out. I can eat whatever I want. So it is not about who's asking me about this. It is the excuse that I'm giving to myself. And what I have started in this is kind of improving my self talk, that whenever I talk to myself, uh, I talk more positively. I talk about what I want to do rather than negative. It's not that some negative thought does not cross my mind, definitely crosses. So I'm not reached a sainthood yet, but whenever it comes, I'm more aware now to push it aside and talk more positively to myself. And I would say this self talk has helped a lot in COVID, uh, especially to maintain my peace, my uh, I would say overall balanced decision making, help more with my colleagues, build a strong, trustworthy trustworthy relationship with my friends and colleagues. This, I would say, is one of my um, important pillars. Is self talk, improved self talk with myself, and that's why I'm much calmer, much at peace, okay, with the whole aspect of impacts related to COVID and other things happening. And a suggestion from me, although I understand that I have not been able to convince my daughter yet to start doing it, but I do it, is uh, take a picture of me every day and write gratitude. At my age, not that I'm very old, but still, with the kind of environment that I choose to live in. Many a times with the stress that I take, the tension that I take, it is obvious that it may cause some or the other comorbidities or pain or something. But for me, a major gratitude every day is to wake up without pain. It can be many other things for others. To have food on our plate, to have a job, to have a family. And many a times we forget that these gratitudes are there in our life and we only kind of talk about what is not there, right? So this helps us be overall a better human being, which will support our journey. I'm not telling we should not have big desires. We should definitely want to have big desires, and it helps us to be calm and peaceful, to take a bigger leap towards what we want, right? Thank you. That's all from my side. Questions, if I can probably
Yeah. Thank you
share.
so much. Thank you so much, Sandhya. That was an amazing session. And as rightly pointed out, it's been more calmer. Even the entire, I was seeing that 45 minutes, it has been such a calm 45 minutes for everyone. It has just went, the time just flew. I have not even noticed the time. And it has been so fast, it's almost 50 minutes now. And so what you are practicing is kind of getting applied completely in this session for sure. At least from my side, I'm not sure about the attendees, but I'm pretty sure that they might have also related that with your session for sure. It has been a more self-improvement inspiring, and along with that, a more skill oriented and more innovative kind of session for them. Thank you so
Uh,
much.
Shripal, I would just like to add that I would say before COVID, I wouldn't be able to sleep without hearing to some meditation music. Okay. And I know I have a colleague in my organization who's partially cannot, or people with some different abilities, and she kind of judges people more by their voice and all those things. And I was talking to her about a fortnight back, and she was telling me that, Sandhya, you're so calm and serene now, and how could you maintain that? And I am telling you that I don't get worked up now unless someone's dying. So that's the kind of calmness that I have brought, and I can see immense benefit of it. So definitely.
Thank
Thank
you
you,
so much,
Shripal.
Sandhya. Actually, we do have one personality development session group also at Simandhar. So we do keep sharing the thoughts. And I think this particular session would definitely be shared in that group because some of them have not attended that. I'll definitely pass on that session there also in that group. And thank you so much. So the first question comes up from Naveen Thapa. And others who all want to ask, they can also raise their hands. Better that you also talk to Sandhya. She would like to hear. But anyways, in the Q&A window, as most of the past is going to be automated with AI, bot, etc., what would be the role of accountants in the future?
I would say a role of accountants is definitely not going to be accounts payable and accounts receivable and pure bookkeeping, right? The role of accountant is one going to be actively involved, one in telling the AI and bot what to do. Okay, a bot, I would say, a technical person explained to me a bot very nicely. He is telling like, Sandhya, bot is like giving an instruction to make tea. It will, you will tell, take 2 cups of water from the tap, take 1 cup of milk from the fridge, and do this. But if the tap does not have water, what it needs to do? So you will have to train the machine to tell, okay, if there is no tap in the water, check it in some other place. If that place does not have water, check it in some other place. So it is more about using your senses and guiding the machine as to what to do. One. Secondly, I wouldn't say it can be totally faceless accounting. Yes, there are new accounting standards which are coming in, and these needs to be kind of applied. Okay, there'll be much more um, I would say, what it is called, rectification kind of things comes in processes through data analytics, which needs to be applied into bot and everything. So I would say there is where the accountant's role will come. But this area is going to be very limited going forward. So the accountant's role is more that I understand finance, I understand what is the impact on business in all the areas. If I get the best of business understanding, I can help the CEO to run the business better. One. Secondly, if you have the journey and an inclination to become a CEO, you can also become, because it is not like a age old theory where we are more bean counters, or we are more like a person doing a post-mortem, because the processes are such now that we are in the front. I would say, like, GST has helped us a lot. GST is not a way of tax, it is a way of running the business, right? So I would say it is more about where you use your senses. How, one, definitely you need to tell the bot and AI what to do, but secondly, it is more about working along with the business and working more to identify the risk, possible business opportunities, and driving the strategy of the organization.
Mm, Thank you so much, Sandhya. I have Keshav raising the hand. Keshav, I've just unmuted you. Can you please go ahead?
Yeah, am I audible?
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
Keshav.
Yeah, good evening, ma'am. So
Good
I'm a chartered accountant with 2 years of banking experience,
Mhm.
and as someone who wants to switch profile to core FP&A in a entry level role in FP&A, how
Mhm.
what's the practical way to switch into that? And my second question, if you allow me, like how 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 can I gain understanding of business strategy and business model of various Indian companies, since most of the data of the companies are private, and reading books and theories is not helping me in any way. So are there any practical ways to gain deep understanding of business strategy and business model?
Okay, let me take the second one first. And why I
Yes.
would say is, Keshav, what is your, I would like to understand what is your idea of understanding the strategy of various organizations? What do you want to derive from it, or what do you want to gain from it?
So what I would like to help gain is the understanding of various revenue and cost drivers, so that I can improve the bottom line of the company. For strictly speaking, with the finance point of view, I would like to improve the revenue and optimize the cost.
Mhm. I would say, Keshav, you can understand some strategies from outside, and definitely there are ways. Like there are fintech companies which give you data regarding private companies. Okay,
Mhm.
you need to subscribe for them. So those
Okay,
are the options available, but those are expensive, right?
right.
What I can suggest, Keshav, is more to follow a couple of strategies. See, it will be like a khichdi if you try to understand everyone. Okay, because
Okay,
ultimately the idea of understanding a strategy is to use it. Okay,
right.
I want to use the strategy and get a benefit out of it. I would say be with the flow. Okay, and
Mhm.
Keshav, I have not learned any strategy from anyone. You know, my strategy was my mom, who used to
Okay,
run the house. Okay, and how she used to
okay,
ensure that all the stakeholders are happy, right? And yet she used to
right.
manage unlimited resources. So if you understand most of the strategies, and if I like follow Simon Sinek and many other personalities as well, and I see, and I believe truly that you don't sell a product. Okay, you sell a emotion. You sell a emotion, and there are many people who will vouch for it, that they do not select a product only because it was cheaper, it was the best product available, but it was the way it was sold to them, right? That kind of trust and relationship, if you can develop with your customer, and if you see like Amazon's ad, okay, Amazon's ad is not about how quick their delivery is. The Amazon's ad is about involving you emotionally and telling you that see how they take care of their vendors. Right. So I would say have when you decide your goal, and I will strongly recommend this to all of you, that have a strategy house for yourself. Okay. And what does that mean is that what I want to achieve professionally, what I want to achieve personally, and what I want to do post retirement. Okay, maybe a little long term for you all, but that is one of the areas that we need to look at. And I found that I have blank everything over there because I don't have a hobby. So after, not that I will retire, but I have something where I need to invest my time mindfully, right? So I would say make a strategy house for yourself and then derive what you want to do. If you do, or if you jump into taking an action without knowing how you're going to use it, you will be spending a lot of effort, Keshav, while you should be focusing on something else, I feel. And over here, I would like to suggest a thing called Take 5, which we propagate a lot in Schindler. It is take 5 minutes before you start any action. And this is more on mindfulness, that we know that if I'm investing this time, what it is resulting to me. Like if I am sharing my thoughts with you, it is because I feel that if I am able to inspire someone to do something better with their life, it serves me spending 1.5 hours on this session.
Absolutely, ma'am.
Right. Second thing is, Keshav, in terms of moving to FP&A role, it is more about understanding the business well. And I feel that if you can demonstrate the same through the way you are trying to learn the strategies and this thing, I think so you should be able to move into an FP&A role very easily.
Okay. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Pleasure, Keshav.
Thank you, Sandhya. Take 5 is what I have noted down from that answer. So I'm just noting down a lot of the points and putting up in the chat window. So second question comes up from Kaushal. What advice would you give to youngsters who aspire to be in their management role like CFO or CEO, and how should they plan their career so as to achieve the growth plan that they have thought for themselves? As not all organizations are keen to develop people for higher roles and responsibilities or are ready for a profile change.
I would agree, Kaushal, right? I would agree, Kaushal. Yes, this is one of the concerns that I see in many of the organizations, that they don't give rotations as required. But I would say from my side that I cannot blame them, because it is a choice that I have made to stay in the organization, right? If I see that the purpose is not getting solved, nothing stops me to choose a different one, right? And I am giving this bluntly because I cannot blame the organization, because organization is with the people that I cannot change everyone. I can't change everyone. So what I can do is I can probably change my role, choose it more effectively, that where I can contribute well. Okay. And again, the pillars that you have is trust, attitude, aptitude, mindset. Okay, these are very important ones, Kaushal. This again are not taught in anywhere, and all the organizations need good people to run. They wouldn't want a mediocre to run their organization. Okay, so I would say if you demonstrate these pillars, you will definitely grow. There is nothing which can stop you. Okay, but again, don't think that only technical skills can take you to the level that you want. Technical is again a very small part of the whole gamut. Like I don't need to know all accounting standards. Not that I am not aware of it, but if I'm not having a hold of, say, one accounting standard, doesn't make me a bad CFO, because I have a team who's trusted, who is quite involved, and who knows what to be done. But my contribution is more in working with the business, understanding that how I can help them, right? So I would say focusing on aptitude mindset is more important if as you grow up the ladder.
Thank you, Sandhya. Preeti, I've just unmuted you.
Hi, Sandhya. This is Preeti
Hello.
here.
Hello,
I think, thank you. First of all, thank you so much for the wonderful insights that you've given, presented today. And the next thing is, see, I have been in with Cisco almost like 12 years now. And I've been in an FP&A role, which is more close to interacting with the business always. And I just gave a break of almost like 12, 14 months, and then I rejoined Cisco. And now I have been given, because I took a break, there was a role, there wasn't a role where I could go back to FP&A, which is kind of interacting with the business or supporting the business directly. But I'm in the back end part of the business, which supports in providing reports and updates and things like that to the business. So now after, and I have almost like 14 plus years in FP&A itself. I would like to know, what is it that takes me to the next level in this particular ladder?
One thing which I can Preeti share definitely is, if your reports carry a good analysis. See, one thing is giving a report in an Excel format, just dumping it, right? And second is, how, if I am Preeti, how I can demonstrate that I understand the business well.
Right.
Okay. And how I will be able to add value is through the work that I am doing. And over here, Preeti, a good idea from, or I would say a good suggestion from my side can be that whenever you send a report, it has to have a good analysis which can make it a decision making MIS. Okay. Okay, because there are many Excels and many data. It is called paralysis by analysis, right? But if I can, from this one report and one mail, if I can decide, okay, these are the three options that I have, and 1, 2, 3, these are the pros and cons of doing it, I would rely on Preeti's report anytime then.
Okay.
And I will specifically ask for it. I would say that is a best way to showcase Preeti, and definitely it will help you kind of go back to the role that you want.
Okay, great. Thank you, Sandhya. Thanks so much.
Pleasure.
For that insight.
I think that was an amazing answer, Sandhya. I could relate that with our, I think my stint with Infosys. So where we used to go to the vice president with our reports, whatever the report with some analytics, and we used to try to show them, so this is what is the report we have prepared. And they really used to love any analytics or anything which is new or which is adding value to the business. And that is what they watch out for in the report. And somehow I could relate that 8-9 years before experience now, when you're talking to Preeti, I think exactly that's what the CFO pulse is, right? So my VP always used to tell, so Rajesh is working with Quest now, so he's now the CEO, and he used to always tell that, see, if you want to impress a CFO, you should be very, very good at sending the reports in a very analytical manner. You just don't send the reports, but it should give more insights to them so that they can take the decisions. And
Sripal, over here, in fact, to Preeti, I would like to just add one thing is, whenever I send a report and I see that, okay, this report relates to a particular mission or vision or strategy of the organization, and if you link it with that, imagine if Preeti is getting a report, you are getting a report from someone which tells Preeti, this is the report which will help you do this, and it will help you in this business lever and to meet this strategy. Amazing. Right? I would love, and why it is loved, Preeti, also is that then I don't need to go to the mail, check the whole Excel, try to struggle with the whole report to find out what I should derive from it. what should I do from that report?
Right. Okay.
Right. So
Yeah.
I feel that's a very good thing, Preeti. And I'm telling you, we just had a month back time management session with Australian company, and what they suggested was simply the way we write subject line of our email
Yeah.
shows a lot of maturity, show gives makes it very easier for the receiver also.
Absolutely.
Like if I just write urgent, needs your
Yes.
attention for this thing, the receiver knows that okay, that person needs to attend this mail first rather than anything else.
Absolutely.
So
Completely
I
agree
would
with you,
say
Sandhya.
these are very small factors but go a long way, Preeti.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Sure. Thank you.
Thanks, Ripal, for adding over.
I think great that you added time management, because I was just arguing yesterday with our CMA students who were late to my class. And I was telling that if that was a board meeting or investors meeting, would you be late by 5-10 minutes? Because the faculty pinged me up and he said, Sripal, they are late by 5 minutes, 10 minutes. I want to log the webinar. So I think respect of time is so important, and rightly said, Sandhya. So this would be straight away my question to you, because we are the faculties here. So Suraj is not joined in right now. What do you suggest to the teachers? Should they be very strict with the students with respect to their time management? And is that skill really important in corporates to excel? Or if they come a little late also to the webinars, like 10 minutes, 20 minutes, do leaders really notice that particular things when they are logging in, or when they are coming to the office? Is that such an indispensable part of the corporate culture or not?
I would say it again depends upon the person. Okay. Uh, I'll be honest here. I am not a perfect time manager all the time. And not because I cannot be. Okay. It is not definitely because I cannot be. It is because I take too much chances with it. And let me give you an example. If the road is of 30 minutes, I will start precisely 25 minutes before, expecting that the train will or the flight will anyways be late and I'll be accommodated. Okay, this is uh, like too optimistic. What I want to be is, or no, I don't want to be that way, and I'm working on it. And I would say I met a good person. I can't recollect his name, and he writes books on time management, and he says it is not the time which needs to be managed, because time is same for everyone. We need to be managing our time well. So it is not about the time management, it is about self management. And I would say over here it is also about uh, if you respect your own time and others time, others will do the same with you. And an example which I can give now is I also follow Kervin Ray, if someone knows him. And it is about that if you feel you are not adding anything to the meeting, please walk away from the meeting, because you're disrespecting that person by attending and just not giving any input. And you're disrespecting yourself or spending time on in a meeting where you are not able to add any value. So one of the things which I now ask in every meeting is, why have you invited me? What do you want from me? Right? If what you want from me is important, which I need to sit in half an hour meeting to tell you that, then I'll sit. Otherwise, I'll walk out of the meeting. If you need a suggestion which I can give through email, then I might will do that. Right? This has helped me release a lot of my time pressure as well. And coming back to your question, Shripal, I wouldn't say that it is not important. Definitely, it is important, because I now, when more and more I'm analyzing it, it is about not giving up respect to others, but respect to myself. And also to tell the person that you can trust me when it comes to activities. I'm the one who can work and deliver on time. It is one of the trust factors as well. Like if you have someone who's persistently late, you never will give a work to them whom you know that the person is never going to complete on time.
So, I mean, so beautifully related with the deadlines. Okay. So, this is what corporates, I mean, I could relate to. So, if you relate to the class, so guys, this is one example I think definitely I can give. You would be definitely late in completing the deadlines of the reports also. And Sandhya being working in the FP&A work, she would be very stringent with the timelines because that is something they are really bothered and more concerned about completing the task on time and deliverables with quality as well, because that is also an important component. Sandhya, one question comes up. Is there any groups to learn the FP&A? Are there any groups? Are there any books?
I wouldn't say there are any books or groups I have known. Okay, I have not known. But one thing which I can definitely share is that if I am not able to learn it in the current role, it does not stop me to work with an FP&A and ask, how can I help you?
Okay.
Okay, that is, most of us don't do it. Okay, so I feel that is one step that I need to take as a person, that if I have not got an opportunity to do an FP&A role currently, how do I work with an FP&A and ask, how can I help you? I think so. That will be a big support for yourself. Okay, and I'll tell you, FP&A role is um, equally demanding and challenging as well. Huh? It is like, sometimes I relate it to the entertainment world. It is very glamorous outside, but my FP&A team is the one who has to slog the most at all times. Huh? And when COVID was there, and we were, all of us, or most of us, did not have work, me and my FP&A team were practically working 14 hours every day, because there was so much to do and so many new things coming up, not realizing how to react. This was the part of, no, not having any skill, right? So yes, I have not seen a group, but I would say nothing stops us from working with an FP&A and taking more understanding of it.
So there is a follow-up question to it. Can you share how one can develop the analytic skills which any organization is looking for in FP&A?
I would say analytics will come more from your observation skills and your curiosity about asking questions. Okay, if I see the way you start, if you are working in an organization and if you know the vision and mission of the organization, I would say if you can relate all the actions to it, it would come automatically. It is not a kind of, uh, I would say, a skill which can be taught somewhere. Ki ab analytics kar lo. It is like Excel. Even if you learn it, till the time you practice it, you will never be able to kind of have a better hang of it, right? So it cannot be taught in a classroom. It is more like how well involved you get with the business, and you will know the analytics part. Like simple, if I want to have an Amazon, and how will I analyze it? It will depend upon what is the problem that I want to solve. So a right question can be for analytics to start is, what is the problem that I want to solve? And if for that problem, what is the data points that I have? And from that data points, what is that I can derive? Right? So working on an analytics without knowing what is the problem that it is going to solve is not going to result in any benefit. You have to know that what is the problem you're going to solve.
I think that's an excellent answer, because if you're going into a cost control, controlling the cost, at least you must know what is the objective of why you're doing that analytics, because end of the day, it should meet that objective of cutting the cost or on that particular thing. Observation skills, terrific, Sandhya. I think this also I can relate, because two of my friends were interviewed in IIM just on the observation skills on the buses. What is that? The Swaraj Yojana scheme which have come up, right? So they just test their observation skills, how alert they are, even when they are on the road, where are they seeing that boards and all. And these are certain important skill set, I think, gets tested in management and B schools and all. And little lesser, I would say, and in CA and other professional courses, because that is something we have to learn on our own only. So that's what I could relate, because observation skills are really, really important and rightly pointed out, Sandhya. Next question is, as you told about the importance of trust, attitude, mindset in life, how should one manage them when they are passing through the rough time, as people tend to get weak emotionally or mentally during these times in life?
I would say personally, sticking to your core values at all the time, okay, is very important. And what are the core values? I would say, if you would have asked me 10 years back, I wouldn't have been able to frame it, that these are my core values. I'm able to frame it now. What I can suggest is you develop and frame your core values. And second thing is, count on your blessings. I was hearing to one of the spiritual thing, and it is like the whole galaxies are moving and working at a proper pace, and we are just the tiniest speck possible. And if someone says something to us, we get so absurd and so bizarre that we think that the heavens and the skies have fallen on us. I think so. We give attach too much self importance to it. And I learned a very good thing yesterday was that your ego should not be dependent on your internal factors. It should be like sunlight, like shadow, which depends more on an external factor. I would say many of the times the rough patches and all those things, the way we take it more is because we don't count on our blessings that you already have. Nothing can go absolutely wrong. All the things wrong. Very few cases like that. But most of the times, counting on your blessings, I would say each one of you, if you start writing gratitude list for 10 days, you would see a sea change in yourself. Sea change. And this I am not telling out of kind of hearing and kind of passing it to you. I am practicing it, and I can't tell you the benefit of it. That I feel that yeah, there are positive things in my life as well, and this is excellent one. I'm writing since February with my coach. I would say initially I was more mechanical while writing. Okay, likhna hai as a practice, but now I attach a lot of emotion to it, and I see that yes, there are a lot of positive things in my life rather than cribbing about few things not going right.
I think, no, one more question. How will be the account how will be the account management skill or role in the organization in future?
Oh, I did not get what role exactly are you talking about?
So the question tells how will be the account management skill or role, or I would say, how are they seeing management accountants in the organization in future? Is that, I guess, Ramana wants to ask. I just tweaked the question.
Okay. I feel it will surely be there. Okay, because but the roles will change or the responsibilities will change a lot. Instead of monitoring people, you will be more monitoring the activities, and that will change. I would say the management accountant's role, and it will be more about ensuring that the whole process runs seamlessly in an organization. So it will be more about not only analyzing and correcting the entry, but more correcting the process. And this will be always there because, Ramana, that the business environment is changing, and finance, the business cannot run as per finance. The finance has to run as per business, right? I cannot tell my accounting systems can't account it, so you don't do the business. That will never happen, right? So I have to always tweak or change my processes to manage the new business environment. Like digital signatures, probably I used to not accept as a CFO mail confirmation from customer on a contract earlier. I'm accepting it now. And if that change I have made in the process, I need to ensure that it needs to be changed in all my SOPs, all my accounting processes, all my audit documents, everywhere. So I see that this is a evolving role all the time, but along with evolving role, you have to be knowing the business well and understanding what are the changes required as per that.
Correct. I think that's all the questions we had, Sandhya. It has been a terrific 1 hour, 20 minutes of session. Have been really joyful, peaceful, analytical, skillful, and at the end of the day, making everyone who have attended this session to be a better human being. And what could we ask more, like 2020 ending up on a strong session from Sandhya Sharma. Thank you so much. I know taking out 1 hour, 20 minutes is not so easy for a CFO. And I really appreciate Sandhya for this. And we, the entire team, even the participants, everyone have witnessed something really special in this 1 hour, 20 minutes, which we would be following also. It's not about listening. At the end of the day, we must practically follow that. And I think the attendees would be really happy after this session. Thank you so much, Sandhya, for giving your time. Over to you, Sandhya.
Pleasure, Shripal and Sangeeta. Thank you for the opportunity.
Yeah, ma'am. With the entire Simandhar family, once again, like to thank you that you took out your time from your busy schedule and you shared the knowledge with us. It was great having you this evening, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Pleasure.
Yeah. Bye,
Take
ma'am.
care, everyone. Bye.
Yeah.
Bye. Bye.
Bye, Sandhya. Take care. Thank you.
Bye. Bye.